all our Herald TV viewers, a very warm welcome. You are watching a special program, Sports Talkies. When you talk about sports and Goa, the one game that naturally comes to your mind is football. Football has been dominating the scene, not only in Goa, but all over India. Top clubs we have had dominating the scene at the national football level. Several international players, national players, captains of India teams have been Goans. Contributing to the development of big Indian football has been a rising club from Salsette, and that is Churchill Brothers Football Club. They have won several accolades, several international tournaments. They have been even at the Asian Football Confederation Cup level. And they have been winning several championships, both at the state level, at the national level, have even won the Federation Cup. They have been also the winners of the I-League, and theirs is the only national I-League team that has a Goan club. We have, fortunately, the person responsible for the administration and for the growth of Churchill Brothers Football Club. Incidentally, she is the only lady who is the Chief Executive Officer, and we welcome none other than Valanka Alemao.
Thank
By
you.
Valanka, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jovito, for your kind words.
Valanka, you have been at the helm of affairs of Churchill Brothers, and now you have taken additional responsibility. It only shows that you are growing, and you are growing well in football. You have also been now in the executive committee of the All India Football Federation, the first and the only lady in the last 83 years of the AIFF in India.
God's grace, I must say. Yeah.
Once you entered the AIFF executive committee,
Yeah.
they appointed you as the chairperson of the women's committee, and right now you have a women's team participating in the Indian Women's League for the first time.
True.
So, lot of additional responsibilities.
True.
And how do you manage all this?
Well, I think all credit goes to my parents, especially my father, who's been my cheerleader always and have encouraged me, or my siblings rather, because he has always defined that gender does not decide your career, but it is your willpower. And I think you require your family to support you in what you do, because I'm a lawyer and I have practiced law, and sports is something which comes very naturally because of the love and dedication my family has given to Indian football. And that is something which nobody has trained you, or rather I haven't done any theory to be a CEO, but I think it's all because of experience. And where there is passion is a calling where nobody decides. I mean, it's just there. So that's how. Yeah.
So how happy or tough has been your journey with the Churchill Brothers team, which is there in the I-League?
Well, it's definitely not easy, but end of the day, it's experience, and especially for women. And football is all about men's football and a men's society rather. So it is difficult, but end of the day, one should face all those challenges. And I think there have been days where I've said like, oh God, why me? And this is not the way, or various other things. But at the end of the day, I have also learned that, to be something in life, or rather to believe in your dreams, you have to sacrifice. And football is such a sport that, we go in, it's about eat football, dream football, and sleep football. And being one of the first women administrators and in the high office of Indian football. It's not been easy, but at the same time, somebody had to do it. That's the way I look at it.
So you have gone through the accreditation process,
Yeah.
licensing criteria, and it's pretty tough.
Well, it's really tough. It's not just pretty tough. It's really tough. And what I would love to say is that, you know, for football and rather for I-League teams, we have been there before ISL could even come to being. And it is a lot about, you know, giving that platform to boys, who, especially Goans. I mean, my heart goes to the community, because first you have to give it back to your community. And there have been clubs, you know, I've grown up watching like a Dempo, Salgaonkar, Sporting, Churchill. And then all of a sudden, you know, these three clubs, for whatever personal reasons, they are not there in football. It makes us very sad, you know, because there's no derby with these clubs anymore. But nonetheless, you have to create such opportunities for the Goans, and I'm proud that my father has been doing this for such a long time.
Yeah, you were originally, this was called as the National Football League.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that time, you had the other teams from Goa.
Yeah.
The moment the teams like Dempos, Salgaonkars and Sporting
Yeah.
withdrew from the I-League, and for whatever reasons, they say that the standard of football in Goa is going down, because you are the only club which is giving the professionals of Goa a platform for them to survive and to show their mettle.
True. It's also because I think they felt that there was a lack of roadmap. You know, that what happens after we win the I-League, then what happens. So obviously, you know, you have to give it to them that these clubs have given so much to Indian football, and football would have never been the same without these clubs. But end of the day, we fought in the High Court to come back to the league, and it all paid off. That's all I can say.
So it's because of you that at least some players are getting some sort of advantage,
100%.
and they are growing.
And I'm really proud to be whatever factor, small or big, that I can initiate this. But end of the day, we as Goans, I mean, we have to support each other. And football is such a thing that, you know, even during rains, when you go through the roads and villages and, you know, you see the fields, I mean, that's what Goa is all about.
You have been doing exceedingly well during a certain period of time. But of late, your performance has not been the same.
See, in life, you know, what goes up comes down, what comes down goes up, and that's what gravity is all about. But having said that, I mean, we play only to win, okay? Like, if you have ever got the opportunity to watch a match with my father, I mean, sitting next to him, it's impossible, you know, like, I get the jitters. I mean, if we are like one goal down, I mean, this man goes like really mad, you know, like nobody can come between unless we score. I think, you know, that passion, I don't think money can buy. And like I have said, for him, it's only about winning. He doesn't know what is a draw, and if you lose, so you just forget it. So we try our best, but as I say, you know, every day can't be yours or every year can't be yours. But having said that, you have to keep at it and you have to keep trying.
Yeah, but then do you think nowadays the financial aspect has risen much?
It is, and it is, as I say, to be in such competition level, you have to spend that kind of money, because you are not doing that like for a checklist, you know, tick mark, I participated here, You're doing that to create an impact. Now, to create an impact, you have to spend that kind of money. And I must say that I am thankful to all who are supporting us, including the government of Goa, especially, you know, late Sir Manohar Parrikar and the current Chief Minister, Sir Pramod Sawant, who have supported our club, because our club is one of the only club, as you well said, who represent Goans.
Yeah. And then for you now to sustain, it must be quite a heavy burden, a real headache maybe.
Well, you know, when you do something in life, you don't look at it like that, but you keep trying. We are definitely speaking to a lot of people. We're trying to get some sponsorships as well. And yeah, I mean, we're keeping at it. Let's hope for the best.
But they say that Goa throws a different sort of a problem as far as the sponsorships are concerned.
Goa as in what Goa?
For example, now you talk about Bengaluru. Bengaluru came up all of a sudden, and they are self-sustaining. They get sponsors, they get everything.
But Jovito, Bangalore is run by the Jindals.
Yes,
It's a big corporate.
yes.
This is run by a family, and that makes like chalk and cheese. So if you have corporates and if you have the corporate structure, the world is yours. But you imagine a family who's running football for such a long time, and
pretty
that
tough,
takes a lot.
pretty tough,
Yeah,
pretty
that takes
tough.
a lot.
And now they talk about you need to have grassroots youth development.
100%.
Are you also in it?
Of course, because a pyramid has to grow. You can't have rocket science, players coming from there. So for that, if you don't encourage your youth development, because that's the way I look at it, that your under 13 will play your under 15, and your under 15 will play your under 17, and he'll
So
be
it
a part
grows,
of
it grows.
senior
Yeah.
team.
So do you have programs for?
Yes, we have. And
Do you have? Do you fill teams in the leagues?
in all, except for during the COVID, we could not do it because of various reasons and vaccination and all of that. But otherwise, Churchill Brothers has always been doing it.
Yeah, and in the state league, how they have been faring? Okay.
So
or-
state league, how we look at it is that the state league should be the league for development, and those who completely excel in that league are a part of the I League. So, and moreover, to encourage, Indians, Goans, and not outsiders. Yeah.
So you have been fielding the.
Outsiders as in foreigners, I mean.
Yes, yeah. You have been fielding your team with foreigners in the
I
I
League.
League. Yeah. You obviously don't get the cream of that. Why?
It's very simple. It's a matter of your choice. Like if you go and you go to a mobile shop, you will buy a mobile which fits in your pocket. Okay, so given just for example a Goan player who's doing really well, I mean if he gets a better offer than what Churchill Brothers gives him, I'm sure he's free to pick it up, because end of the day, the shelf life of a player is also like up to 35 is the max. You everywhere you don't have a Sunil Chetri. I mean Sunil Chetri is really an exceptional role model. So yeah, I mean wherever they get, and like all the players from Goa are playing for different ISL clubs, and they're making getting great accolades for the state and doing very, very well for themselves. And I think that is something nobody can stop. It's a free country.
Yeah. And then when you talk about grassroots and youth development, how strong are you into that?
Well, I can't say I'm very strong, but we are trying to be strong, because end of the day, it is on the coaches. I can just give them the program, like what the club wants to do. But end of the day, it is the coaches who build them.
And now you have graduated so far to say that you went into the AIFF now, and you are there as the only lady in the executive committee, and you have got a new president.
Yes.
How is it?
I feel it's really good, because for the very first time you have like a hardcore footballer, running the hem of affairs right from the top. So he being the goalkeeper, and he's played for various clubs even in Goa. So I think his experience, being a player and understanding football makes a lot of difference.
You're talking about Kalyan.
Kalyan, Mr.
Chobe.
Kalyan Chobe, yeah.
So how did you feel working with him?
I think we are new.
Yes.
Okay, it's a fresh committee, but end of the day, with new comes fresh ideas, but we have a balance of both. Like we have Mr. Menla Entepa, who's from Sikkim, who's a very senior person, and like him others. So I think in life you need a blend of both, but the kind of steps that the federation is taking, I think are pretty good.
Being the only lady, do you feel that you are being suppressed, subjugated, or it is a free expression that you also have?
I must say that I express. I cannot be suppressed, because there is a reason why I am there. And as I have told you that, the world is very challenging, life is very challenging, but at the same time, I'm not gone there just to sit there. So obviously, I'm heard, and I'm very thankful, and I said this also to my EXCO committee, that it is so encouraging to see that, there is a dialogue, and then they kind of consider your points.
You can express freely.
100%,
There's no problem.
There's no problem.
Yeah. And if it is something not towing their lines, how is it taken?
I think it's always, I have spoken for interest of Indian football. It's not about towing anybody's line, but I think the entire committee itself is for Indian football. So if there are some decisions which I feel are not good, I will always express.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have been also now elevated as the chairperson of the women's wing. How do you feel getting into the women's football, which is not on par with men's football?
Yeah, but having said that, you know, the women's football, even without having that kind of competition, I think they have done wonders for the country. So you imagine the kind of potential and talent these girls have, giving the limited structure which existing, and they perform so well, you know, internationally. And it is also very important for the parents to encourage these girls. It's not easy, you know, where your parents will be like, come on, I'll take you to play football and that's going to be your career. So we have to change the perception where these girls
will
can
eventually
also.
the girls will be able to make a career, at least to some extent, like the
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. See, it's too early to say to make a fee structure like the men's, but you have to work on parity, you know, because you cannot take it for granted. But at the same time, we have to restructure the entire league. Like the current one, we do not have it like a league. It's like more like a tournament, because in 1 month you can't have a league. So we are working on all of that, and even the president, the general secretary, and all the other exco members are very keen that, you know, women football reaches a certain level.
Because they say that it is much easier for women's football to get into the World Cup for women rather than men.
Nothing comes easy, let me say that. Nothing comes easy, and everything you have to work equally hard. You know, it's a very wrong saying, or rather wrong perception that things come easy, because the kind of challenges a girl goes through, and to play that football and to convince the parents, and they have to also sacrifice so many things, you know, to be there. So nothing comes easy. I don't believe that.
Yeah. You have now qualified Churchill Brothers for the first time in the Indian Women's League. How do you feel?
We have qualified, and I am very proud that we won the Goa League. Okay, and
So
that's how,
champions.
as champions of Goa, we reached there. But there were various, what I should say, setbacks, you know, like a lot of players of Churchill Brothers were the key players of the Goa national team. And technically, all of them would have participated for this particular IWL. But, you know, a lot of them have TY exams and FY exams, and it is not you know, something which is not in our hands. And I would never tell those girls that please, you know, bunk your exams and go there, because they also have to be financially independent, and education is something we need to encourage the girls with. So that was one of the reasons, you know, that the team as such did not get to what I should say, train together for a long time, and there were a lot of changes. But having said that, I can only say that the girls are giving their best, and Churchill Brothers has done their best.
Yeah, you have seen the other teams, obviously.
Oh, they're excellent.
And the performance of Churchill Brothers has not been that good at all.
Yeah, but then having said that,
yes,
you cannot stop encouraging those girls, right? As I have told you, I mean, for us, it is only about winning. So you can imagine what it is right now. But those girls are giving their best. When I speak to the coach, she says that, you know, they are still yet to gel, but we do not have that kind of time, as it is just a 1 month league and you have just 1 day break. And also, you know, the weather conditions and everything. It's like you say, you know, for girls it is so easy. It is not.
Yeah, and then you have no foreign players in your team.
No.
You
There
never
was no
thought of-
time for it, because we won the state league on December 5th, if I'm right. And then there was this huge gap. We were supposed to start the IWL in Jan. So if we had to start in Jan, you know, things would have been much better. Then for some reason or the other, it got delayed, and then, you know, we had the nationals come before that, and there's been a lot of, you know, fatigue with that. And then suddenly we have the IWL. But end of the day, you know, one needs to accept whether winning or losing, but we've done that with, we've given our best. The club has given its best, and end of the day, it's on the pitch.
Yeah, and will you continue now with your women's team?
There's no reason to stop, right? So we have to encourage.
Yes.
Yeah. But the goal, I mean, as Churchill brothers, I feel, and the difficulty we've faced, and I feel as the women's committee, you know, chairperson, I feel the most important part is you have to create players. And to create players, you need to really have this under 13, under 17 league structure, because that's how you're going to nurture talent, because it's very difficult to find players. I mean, Goa though is, you know, you have the best of Goa playing for me. But yet, there are certain setbacks.
But obviously, there are no youth programs tailor-made for girls.
No. So, but in future, as I said, the Exco is working on it. If you have read the Vision 2047 and all, the key structure, at least what I have said, is you have to create the women's development league system from the under 13, under 17, and even under 10.
Now, you are the CEO of the Churchill brothers.
Yeah, but I'm talking this as a chairperson.
As the chairperson.
Yeah.
Will you give the same treatment for what men are getting in your club, I'm talking, to the women and the girls in your club?
I would give it more to the under 13, under 17, to be very precise. This is the very first time we have explored, or rather participated in an IWL, because we won the state league. But it is too early for me to say that. It is not yet at par with the men's, because I have been the CEO of the men's, you know, Churchill brothers for a very long time, and it is very different. It's like chalk and cheese.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, what are your future plans?
We keep participating in whatever we are, and we work towards qualifying for the Indian Super League, and that's what the goal of the club is. And a lot of, you know, youth leagues, or rather the under 13, under 17, under 15, under 18. And we have a lot of go-in coaches also with us, and, you know, it's for the administration part, we can just give it to them. But end of the day, it's the coach who have to really develop the player on the pitch. But I think when we have already set, and we know that what Churchill brothers wants, and we want to be there in the Indian Super League, which is the topmost league in the country, we are working towards it, and let's hope for the best.
But this year you came, at the beginning you came very close, but then you did not succeed.
No, I did not come very close this
No?
year. No, that was last year in the bubble, where we won, we were leading by 8 points.
Yes.
Okay, and we lost in goal difference. Like that was insane. This year we had, I think our foreign signings were not that great, and I accepted as the CEO of the club that, you know, we did make mistakes which costed us a lot. And like we had a player from La Liga called Mr. Tana, and he did not, you know, later want to continue. So we had
Problems.
various challenges.
Yes, yes. So you have gone into the AIFF because of the new dimensions from the court, the Supreme Court, and then the sports code and all that. How do you feel the sports code is?
Well, sports code is something we need to look at it holistically, and it is something everybody is working on. You know, one can say do everything, but end of the day, it has to be for the development of sports. I mean, if it's not there for that, then it cannot be there. So I think that every MA, that is the member association, will be talking about it and giving their feedback, and I mean, that's going to be the way ahead.
Yeah, and I think the constitution of AIFF has not been finalized.
No. So the Supreme Court has just appointed a new retired justice, Mr. Nagaveshwar Rao, and he is going to decide by July. So he's going to hear all the stakeholders once again. I mean, Justice, S.Y. Qureshi had done that exercise, and our current CJI, that is Justice Chandrachud, and it was on the verge of finalization, but there must have been reasons because, when you create a policy or a law, you have to think about the repercussions for the long run. So he felt that this requires more dedication, and he felt that the current, retired Justice Mr. Rao would be the right person to look into all the legalities and finalize it.
And they also talk about that once the sports code is applicable at the national level, that for the state member associations also it will have to be.
See, if it is for all, it has to be for all. You can't have a different yardstick for different, states. So it is a debatable question and something which has been going on for a long time. But I think everybody's interest will be taken care of, and moreover, it has to be for sports.
So despite you have now additional burden on your shoulders with the AIFF, you still continue to give prime attention to your club, that is Churchill Brothers.
I mean, that is what has taught me rather, or I have learned from, and you have to believe in what you do.
Yeah. So we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
We know that you will grow with the enthusiasm and the
you.
motivation that you have, especially from your father, Churchill.
Thank you so much, Jovito. God bless.